all of these acronyms that you see right here are very important, but a lot of people actually don't know what they are and what they mean and why they're important. So let's go ahead and go over each of them. Number one, CBO, which stands for Campaign Budget Optimization, which is not a new feature from Facebook, but now more and more people are starting to utilize it because Facebook is making CBO become mandatory in fall of this year. So to explain what CBO is in simplest terms, instead of spending $20 a day or setting a specific budget for your Facebook ad sets, what you're doing instead is setting a budget at the campaign level with as many ad sets as you want, and Facebook will spend towards those ad sets accordingly to whatever your budget is set to. It's not going to spend evenly, but it's going to spend where it thinks it'll spend best. More CBO videos coming soon. Number two, capital PUR, which stands for purchase. Pretty simple. Number three, another simple one, capital ATC, which stands for add to cart. Number four, another simple one, capital IC, which stands for initiate checkout. Number five, capital CPP, which stands for cost per purchase. So we use this as a metric to track how much we're spending to acquire each individual purchase on a specific ad set, campaign, or whatever your level you're looking at. Number six, capital CPM, which stands for cost per thousand impressions. Now, this isn't a metric that I use all the time for every single ad set, but if there's one ad set that's maybe not making enough sales to stay profitable, what I'll do is I'll look at the CPM so I can see how it compares to those profitable ad sets. So it's not a super important metric, but it is a metric that I do use as an indicator. And this next one, number seven, capital CPC, cost per link click, is going to be the same exact thing as before. It's not a super important metric, but it's definitely a metric that I do look at to make some specific decisions. Number eight, capital PPE, which stands for page post engagement, which is an objective of Facebook ads where you can optimize for likes, comments, and shares instead of optimizing for a purchase, which I would never understand why you would do, which I've had this discussion and debate with on several other of my videos. Number nine, as you can see actually right back there, capital ROAS, which stands for your return on ad spend. So this is a very, very important metric that I use to see if I am profitable. What this metric will show is, all right, I spent $50 and my ROAS was 5, 3, 1, 0, whatever it was. Number 10, capital PV, which stands for page view. I use this acronym specifically when I'm creating page view source audiences for products. So what I'll do is I'll go to custom audiences, create audience, website traffic, and then instead of selecting page view, I'll select people who visited specific web pages, and then I'll put those URLs, and then as the actual name of the audience, I'll put whatever the product name is, full page view, but I use capital PV to keep it shorter, more organized, and then 180, which is the day range that I use just as a start as the first audience that I'll make for a product source audience. Number 11, capital VV, which stands for video views. This is another metric that I use when naming audiences specifically or campaigns if I'm using the specific audience. So what I do is I retarget people that have watched 75% of my video, of my ad, as well as 95%. And instead of titling out and saying video views, I just use capital VV for video views, like I said, to keep things more organized. Number 12, capital FW. This is another one that I use for naming audiences. It stands for a full website. So what I'll do is I'll create another source audience of every single person that visited my website, whether it was one specific product or just by random. So that's going to be able to create an audience of people who have specifically just visited my website in general. Number 13, capital RT, which stands for retargeting. So again, when I name audiences or campaigns or ad sets or anything in general, instead of just titling out retargeting, I just say capital RT, makes things a lot easier and keeps everything more simple. Number 14, which is an important one, capital CTA, which stands for call to action. And now this is an important one because this is where you're actually getting people to go to your store and to buy. So this is whenever you would have, the shop now button on your store as the call to action button is what they call it. You would set it to shop now, as well as you'd have a call to action in your actual ad copy where it directs them to click on a link, which is a call to action. You're calling them, telling them to do a specific thing, which is the action of them going to your website and then potentially buying from your store. Number 15, capital CTR, which stands for click-through rate. Now, this is one of those other metrics that I don't use a ton, but it's definitely one that I use for specific indicators in specific situations. But capital CTR stands for click-through rate, which is essentially just telling you what percentage of people viewing your ad actually click on that call to action button, which is a metric that I look at a lot more with emails and different types of other marketing, but not just specifically my Facebook ads. Number 16, capital CLV, which stands for customer lifetime value. So this wasn't really a metric or acronym that I really knew of or utilized until recently when I found out that I could create lifetime value lookalike audiences. So what your customer lifetime value is all right, this person bought from my store. Have they bought multiple times? Have they bought one time? How much have they spent? What did they buy? Really just keeping track of that lifetime value of what they've spent on the lifetime of your store being open. And then with the lookalikes, I mean, I'll make a video on that. But what you do is basically essentially can make lookalikes off the people that have spent the most money on your store, which, like I said, I'll make in another video. But those are my 16 dropshipping e-commerce marketing acronyms. If you have any more that I'm not thinking of right now that you think are important, then go ahead and comment them below. There were some other ones I could have talked about and used, but they didn't really relate specifically. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, you learned something. If this has helped you out, then go ahead and make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.